Hello, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today is May 6th, 3:30 p.m. my time, as you can see there in the top right. Today, I just put up a video playback of the attack I plan when it comes to machine learning since I've read the book that I just posted a review on about a week ago. So we have some new options available, as I have listed here, and a couple other things I've posted as well regarding performance. Cryptocurrencies have done well. The ones I've been traditionally using has done well over the last week with Litecoin and Binance Coin, particularly against Ethereum. And there's been a nice run up, and now it's come off. And then we have all of a sudden, the last few weeks, Bitcoin performance has gone from about, you can see here, on April 25th, April 25th, 51.25, all the way up to 50.70 at the peak 2 days ago. It's come down a bit. So when you factor that in, that's about a 15-20% rise in the last 15 last week or so. So that has been pretty huge. So we've got a new market regime to deal with. As I said, these are the options that I've got. Do I HODL, invest for the long term, only in cryptocurrencies generally, which brings me back to a service like this called cointracking.com that kind of tracks all those type of trades, and use what I've built so far with algorithmic trading to HODL. So I can do that. The other option I have is to use what I've built and have a system that just basically generates signals only. All right. So I have in my service that I provide here, I've got two options. A lot of people are always interested in the course that I have to help you and show you how to build out a trading system, specifically if you are interested in Forex or crypto as I am. This is a good option to help you build out infrastructure for that. People have been asking about strategies and trading ideas. I kind of give that, but I don't, for the money that I charge, it's really only for infrastructure only. The next service that I have for this option here about generating signals only, this is what we're speaking of. This is for traders, not people that can't figure out on a technical level how to cross the finish line to build out their own custom trading bots. This service is more for you, and this is what I'm talking about, to be able to use the automation that I've built and be able to use that for trading signals. The other option I have here is about fully automating. So these are the three options that I have available to me. I've been doing the full automation with live trading for the last, call it 2-3 weeks. It's very mixed, where you do get, because of what I showed you about the markets have come off. With crypto, I'm finding there's more losing strategies. I mean, I can lump it because they're small, very tiny trades. So my little trading account in Binance can handle it. But it does bring back a long-term view of how to handle this. So what I've done is I'm going to be going through a very lengthy and exhaustive process to show you what I face, as well as other people in the same space would face, and how the general leading websites talk about and analyzing these type of asset classes, specifically for what we have access to as small retail traders, be it Forex, be it through commodity, through CFD products, and then the other one, of course, is crypto. I'm going to focus first on crypto and give you some options that we have available on how the market is looked at from both a human and a automated view. So I'm going to go through the crypto sites here, or postings, and these are from the last 24 hours. So we're dealing with FX Street, FX Forex Daily, but you'll see them. Let me go through this. So the first one is concerning Cardano. Usually we get all these news items on crypto that could have an impact on the price of a particular crypto pair or a coin or a token, as well as the general overall space. So here's some news on Cardano. But one thing I want you to take away from an automated trading point of view, namely what we have available to us in terms of how we can view the market, and we can use that automation and build trading rules for the automation to either generate signals only or generate signals only, not only generate signals only, but also do the fully automated trading for us. So here, and you're going to see a lot of this on what I'm going to show you, is what is used by these analysts. So the big one that I've found is they're always talking about support and resistance. I'm just going to leave it at that. Support and resistance is really, really common among all these analysis. So we have resistance here in this news item on setting target pricing. So does that mean then, do we use things like certain technical indicators that we can use that I've talked about, rate of change, RSI, do we use those? And then when we do, if we do use them, do we use them plus put the entry based upon those trading rules on top of, on the exit side, do we use things like ATR or average true range to exit the trade, hopefully with profit? But when you look at how these analysts do it, it's always using setting profit targets of either using support and support and resistance. And the other key is I'm going to show you is the view of the market in terms of the time frame that they use. So in this case, in this particular article, it's just basically support and resistance. But you'll see a trend here, and I'm going to show this to you. The next article is in concerns with price prediction on EOS. EOS has been doing fairly well based upon volume here. I'll go over to so coin market caps. This is the latest one. You can see here EOS is pretty important because it's number 6 on the overall top 10, 20, 30 crypto coins out there. So EOS is definitely an important one. It goes up and down as I talked about. So what do they talk about in this particular article from U.Today? So here, a lot of these articles are very, very important. So here is this time view. This is what I want to show you when I speak of the time frames. Look at the view that we are looking at. So this particular person is using a monthly view. I would even, well, let's just say a monthly view of the market. Again, support and resistance, they talk about it and setting those targets on when that price of EOS does break through the resistance line here, then we have an entry. And you'll see a lot of that. So I'm going to show you that through all the other articles that we're talking about. Okay, so that is usually what is talked about. Sometimes there are other tools used like Elliott waves and channels and so on. Support again, and that is what we're talking about. These are the kind of indicators that are used for that. So if we are to just assume that we just use support resistance, makes life a lot easier. So let's continue. Okay, next one is about obviously the mega Bitcoin performance that we've been getting over the last couple of weeks, as I've shown you. So this one speaks of Bitcoin, the mega monsoon. There's so much noise out there regarding the level, and I've gone through YouTube videos, educational ones, and specifically certain YouTube videos and channels that focus on Bitcoin, and it really blows my mind on how big and popular these views are. Number of views on these particular YouTube videos are based upon what I'm just about to show you. So once again, we have Bitcoin here talked about. Again, we have the view here of monthly, weekly charts from this guy here. Let's see if I can break it down. So here's the chart. Yeah, so this is, you can see here in the time frames on HL. I'm not going to even bother making it. If it's a support, or HL, does that mean HODL, published trading view? So I'm not sure what that means, but it don't matter in this discussion. All right, so that's the Bitcoin trend. So where you see obviously a lot of this is in Forex and CFDs. So here, all of these links we're going to go through, and I'm going to show you exactly what I just shown you, but now that's universal across the other other asset classes that we talked about. One key item I'm going to drop here in this particular video I just posted an hour ago is you can, and I just discovered this last week, which you don't get. There's a lot of advantages on the analysis that you can use with crypto. With Awanda specific, yeah, with Awanda, which is pretty well the largest broker in the world. I'm more than convinced of it through the Google trend analysis, all that. Owanda's big. I have discovered through API documents that you are able to track long and shorts of particular pairs in real time through the Owanda API. There is no other broker, including or exchange, that allows that in any asset class, but Owanda gives you that, and that is tremendous. You don't even need machine learning for that. That is so accurate to be able to analyze in close to in real time shorts and longs. Just ask yourself about commitment of trader reports, because people crave for that, but here you get it almost in real time using Owanda. So that really opens up a lot of opportunities with Forex. So let's go look at some Forex and CFD articles. So the first one here, again, leading websites called FX Street. Here's the trends that I've been seeing. Again, all these articles are been posted over the last 48 hours since Friday. So let's take a look at this. So as I mentioned earlier, this is gold, and we're using Fibonacci to set those targets I spoke of in terms of support and resistance. It's a very key indicator, and also the SMA, very common indicators. Now, in this chart, you can see this is an intraday hourly chart. This is going to be a rare one, but you can clearly see that the Fibonacci's have been set. We have now set a channel here on that downtrend here, as well as once that price has been breached, we have, in this case, a shorting opportunity. And we're also able to use, as always, RSI, and now in this case, MACD, which is another popular view. Okay, so that is from FX Street. And here's some commentary as well on this particular article. Let me just condense this window here. So here's some of the other commentary, and you'll see this consistently. Fibonacci level set our targets, again, our pricing targets on the up and down side, and stop loss, take profit if you're using a popular trading platform like MetaTrader. And then we have our oscillator set, and then we use our channels for that. And then we watch the breaches either on the upside or the downside to set our entry or exit on top of using these averages as well. Okay, so that's just something you'll see, but at least you're getting a rare glimpse of an hourly chart. Next one, so that was FX Street I just showed you, another leading website here. It is called Daily FX. So this one's an analysis on sterling, GBP, or British pound against the US dollar. Test support. Again, you're going to see it consistently. Support, resistance used for pricing levels, pricing targets, and a lot of that's generated using Fibonacci. So again, you hear all the news, and you know, it's one thing to build trend analysis or trend sentiment tools for yourself. It's a very tough thing to build on top of using the computer utilization, and some will even go to the level to build out market sentiment using machine learning. I think that's a pretty tough game to play because you're chasing the return. Here we are using simpler techniques to be able to use to set pricing levels. In this case, right now, and again, that monthly view or weekly view, we set a trend line here. We set our Fibonacci level. If this is a Fibonacci level, I'm not sure. I haven't read this, but I'm going to maybe take a larger subject. I could be wrong on this. You can see here, it to me looks like Fibonacci. And again, you set your pricing levels or target levels on this. I have a variety of charts that I use to give you this type of analysis. I might actually do a video later today on that, using these as a guideline. So from this, what you're basically doing is building your setups, your trading setups for basically your take profit, your stop loss based upon what you see in the markets, using these classic indicators, and specifically on the pricing level, using support and resistance. And this is, again, what really, I won't say blew my mind. I always knew, but just shows you the importance of using weekly views here instead of intraday like I do, minute level. So again, trend lines drawn here on the targets. And at the end of the day, what is talked about on the fundamental front or the news front or the sentiment front becomes irrelevant, because that's going to be built in on the moves that you see through your pricing targets. So it doesn't matter what is in the news. What matters is the price action from that. And you'll be able to determine your pricing levels built around that. It's, like I said, it's very hard to be able to build systems, but you can trade off of calendar events when you know, for instance, as they had the non-farm payroll and how that will impact both US dollar on top of the index or the stock market, and then that obviously impacts trading relationships, as what was announced yesterday concerning the yuan and the announcement that Trump is ready to walk from the trading negotiation. Obviously, that has an impact on the dollar and yuan relationship, and then so again, you'll see that in the pricing action, but it's very hard to predict that. Okay, so again, leading into what I just mentioned here, the Chinese yuan from the news earlier today regarding walking away. Here's again a price analysis on the price action on this. So, okay, so what's the time frame we're? Hang on here. Can I? Oh, yeah. So the question is, what is the time view? Again, you can see that's probably weekly, not monthly, but that again is used as part of the analysis. You can see here the relationship on this pair, US dollar against the Chinese yuan. What happens? Boom, we have our price gap over the weekend, and then boom, it goes up. Looks like it positively was a positive income for the yuan in that case. All right, so let's continue. Let me see if there's anything else to analyze in that trade opportunity with the yuan and the Chinese dollar. So again, this is Forex Live. Some news here that obviously impacts that price. And again, this is going to roil the markets, the futures market, so on and so forth. All right, so let's look at the next one. Weekend update from one of the bigger sites, investing.com. This one's not much. There's a lot of what we call noise. And here it's very interesting. This is, again, a yearly chart. All this stuff basically will walk you through the different points, whatever they mean, of A, B, C, and so on. Some news steer. And this will also talk about, this is a pretty popular CFD you could trade on any Forex broker, SPX, and you can see the impact here. Again, a lot of news. But again, what it really comes down to is analyzing these points and these data points, both for, I'm not sure if this is RSI, but it doesn't matter, on top of the channels that come out of this. Trend lines drawn so on and so forth as well. And again, this is from, so here we have a support, potential channel kind of drawn, and on it goes with all these major other market instruments. Next one, daily effects again. Okay. This is what the markets are telling you through other analysts. Again, lots of commentary about the euro weekly technical forecast. You know, I'm going to keep that one open. Might come back to that. Again, daily effects. This is particular concerning the British pound. Get rid of this coin tracking. So here's some talking points, which is a good phrase. Negative backdrop. So that's the sentiment or bias against the pound against the US dollar. Here's some fundamental news. Economic. Now we get into the charts. Again, you look at this. This is weekly charts. I always talk about the RSI. Look at the moves that we got out of this. This one's using, not sure if these are the Ichimuchu clouds. A lot of people believe in this stuff. I think there's a lot of indicators you can use. But Elliott wave guide, so this may be Elliott wave. I don't know. Who knows? I don't really trade Elliott wave. I have it as an option through Motive Wave, but I'm not going to I think that's kind of overkill with all the other indicators that I use. I'll talk about that in my next video later today. So this one again is from dailyforex.com. Trading support and resistance that we talked about earlier, setting price levels. Again, a lot of the commentary comes out of these very basic concepts, support and resistance. And again, here we have our view of the different central bank interest rates, which can have a predictable impact on the dollar. So there's no doubt on that. And then we get our general bias on, in this case, the direction of euro against the US dollar, which is short opportunity here. And then again, we have the ability to use some of the fundamental analysis. But again, this is what I keep talking about. Key support and resistance levels. That can be generated through Fibonacci levels. So I'll talk about that again in the next video. I'll go over. So here's the flip. As I've never talked about. I'm not going to get into flip and how that works. But you can definitely use the committed trader reports for that. But again, if you want to get real time on flip, you can use, as I said earlier, the Oanda API for that on long short opportunity versus short opportunity on any particular pair that Oanda will offer. So again, engulfing candlesticks. This is another one that came up on another video about just last week with the performance of just on the price action of Bitcoin, how that engulfed us the three prior weeks. But look at where it's at today. It's in a decline. So a lot of these, what you think would be predictable indicators that you could use don't work. They can break down, so you cannot totally rely on them. And again, what's the time frame we're dealing with? It looks like is this an intraday chart? Yes, it is. So this is probably an hourly or even a 5-15 minute chart. And then again, we have here another intraday chart. This is in concerns with, I think this is the Australian US dollar here, and they're probably using candles as well. Okay. So again, just showing you what other traders use. But flip is an interesting concept that you may want to look at. I'll put these links up on my blog. So again, let's go over to FX Street. Let's see what this is. And again, all of these articles are from the last 48 hours since Friday. So these are good classic indicators and commentary of what people use. So here we're speaking of WTI oil, bears on top ducking the below golden cross. There's been a lot of mentions about golden crosses lately, specifically a few weeks ago with Bitcoin. That's why we got the performance of 20% or a 15% move over the last few weeks when that came out. So some of this does work, or I think it does work, especially when it comes to death crosses and golden crosses especially. So again, averages, daily moving averages on the fast and slow, a 50-day moving average against a 200-day moving average. Again, that's what generates the golden death crosses. Again, we set new pricing targets. And again, it's all about setting pricing targets with these support and resistance, again, coming out of the Fibonacci levels. From there, we're able to determine if we're going into weekly or bearish views as well on a weekly or even on a daily level. And again, there's mention here on monthly, and that was talking about, I believe, the WTI. This is the daily on top of that. And then here we have a weekly. Okay, so there's different ways to do it, but it all comes back to support and resistance is the main determinant of all this. This looks like this is new levels being set. Again, this can be Fibonacci-like. All right. Euro against US dollar. Again, technical analysis on this big one, probably the biggest Forex pair out there. So here we are using a very powerful sentiment indicator for market on the PMI, retail sales. Obviously, that will have impact. But again, we're just focused on technical analysis. That's automatically built into the technical analysis no matter where the direction goes, as long as you know about the event coming. So in this case, as I mentioned, non-farm payroll and how that affected the market based upon this news event. So again, we have momentum mentioned here, or month over month and year over year performance. And these are what the big guys use. Again, this is FX Street, euro dollar. Technical indicators remain negative. And again, it comes back to the same thing I talk about, support and resistance levels. And then we get our bearish moves as well. In this case, slopes, momentum indicator, midline, upward move, while the RSI indicator is flat. And what is the, let's take a look at this chart here and what time frame are they looking at. This could be of a weekly view. Wow, what does this mean? 15-minute. Okay, so what we're about to see here is a 15-minute and all these average selling price on the buy and sell. Now, if this is real time, I'm not sure. This is very similar to TradingView, but yeah, okay, so this is 15-minute view as well. So you have a 15. Now let me speak about 15, 5, and 1 minute. What I have seen, 1 minute can be very, very noisy in a highly volatile environment. That could throw off your trading, which can inadvertently break down and throw your trades off, which will result in negative performance, which I've been getting over the last couple of weeks. So probably the safest one is to go as small as 15 minutes. Don't know. I have to analyze that more. But 15 minutes should be okay. But again, it gets very sensitive on the 15 minute. So let's move into Australian, New Zealand, Canadian. And this is daily FX again. So again, we get our commentary stuff, political stuff, trade news, blah, 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 blah. Yes, it doesn't impact it, but you do need to know about the calendar event, but how to trade it and forecast is another story. But again, here we have different news items. It looks like this is a whole pile of different instruments here. I can't make heads or tails out of this lot. All right, so continuing along, daily FX again. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Fundamental view. I think I purposely chose the technical ones as well. So here we have British pound against US dollar. Again, another intraday level. We are using, against US dollar and UK 2-year bond performance. You could see that relationship right here on this news item. As I said, there's definitely can be a relationship sometimes between the UK 2-year bond yield and see how it can impact. At least this stretch, this leg has been impacted by that UK 2-year bond. And then this is the US dollar as well. So again, here we have the daily chart, British pound against the US dollar. You can clearly see here we've got RSI, rate of change, and the consecutive count, whatever that might mean. But again, these trend lines are drawn as well as the what appears to be Fibonacci levels to generate your support and resistance. And then we get into more commentary stuff. So this is a really good article for what I'm trying to speak of and what to use. Let's see here. Let me just get rid of that. All right. So we only have a few more here. New article here. Technical analysis from Daily Effects again. Threats, gold price. Gold can have an impact as well. Gold price daily. You can see there's some form of a wedge forming here. This is your down trend line, and maybe something may impact if the gold price continues to drop. With today's news, I would predict gold should go up based upon the news over the weekend in terms of the down, the negative news that's come out, and then that obviously will impact the markets, and then gold price should go up. So once again, gold price, this can get a really ugly chart, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of Fibonacci levels being set here for your support. And again, this is based upon yearly view. Same thing. I have this type of view. I'm going to show this view in my service, the analytics service I speak of. Again, we are using the Fibonacci levels to generate all the support. And this is the sort of thing we're looking for, these things called symmetrical triangles. I think they all speak the same language. Your trend lines and your kind of wedges, they're kind of mixed, but you could see it, you might see it in my charts as well. So let me just go through here. So gold forecast is bullish. Yeah, and as I said, bullish means the bullish, the gold price should go up with all, as I said, with all the negative news. So that's just the general concept here. So we've got monthly, which could be determined as a weekly view here. Here we have monthly, weekly, and then there was the annual view as well. On to the next fun article here. Here's yahoo.com through Yahoo Finance. So again, this is a big leading resource. And what are they using here? Very open it up with the commentary. Where was it? Monday is likely to be determined by trader reaction to the Fibonacci level. And that's what I've been talking about, Fibonacci levels. Support and resistance comes from that. And again, we are able to determine those performance values around percentage or minute price change. And again, we have now here the talk of spot gold from COMEX. So that confirms what I'm saying. Fibonacci level. Again, Fibonacci support levels always used among a lot of these leading sites. Resistance and support comes out of that. So here's some other commentary. We don't really care what's said. It's just that we're using the price action from that.
One I have not looked at. I've looked at FX Empire, but in this list that I've got here, I don't have any FX Empire. So, continuing along, Euro USD, again, we have our bearish Euro sentiment. EU, EUS, trade war fears, commentary. Again, we have Euro USD versus Eurozone. This is using this indicator here, Euro City Surprise Indicator. I'm not sure if this can be related, maybe. So we have our weekly view, which is here. And again, this is critical. These come from the probably inside reports that we retail traders do not have access to. Percentage of traders net long, percent of traders net short. So that comes back to how critical, as I spoke about, the access to the features of Oanda using the trader net long, net short through Oanda pairs that you can get, and what, as I said, only appears to be through the API only. So again, that confirms that. All right, two more articles here, FX Street and Daily Effects. Let's check them out. So this looks like it's oil WTI. I like this chart. This is kind of nice. To me, it looks, again, something like Fibonacci level, a support, let's see, two trend lines. I like my trend lines, but they're not channels. I do trend lines as well. We do have wedges again, and it's all about setting price target. They'll try to mention, they always break down, but you may see wedges used or triangles used in the price action for a particular pair, and they can and will a lot of times break down. So as technical analysis, some of the best in the world I've read and heard, they always use this term. Technical analysis is never, ever an exact science. It's just to confirm pricing action, and here we are on the importance of support and resistance lines. One last article here, Daily Effects. So hopefully you can see things that really open my eyes on how the pros do it. Again, gold. Guess what? Remember we talked about gold price. This looks like it's an intraday chart. Look at that move on gold, roughly whenever that happened. And it's exactly what I already talked about. I just got it on an intraday chart level to be able to show that. And that's typical moves against gold. So if you had traded that through a CFD, you would have done pretty good. So there's lots of stuff here. I'm not going to bother, but you get the general trend. Support and level, support and resistance generated from Fibonacci's, the odd moving average as well. And I'm going to mention these indicators in my next video. So hang out, and I'm just confirming my theory on a lot of things, just from the last 48 hours on what people use, and it's both for Forex, CFD, and crypto. Hopefully you got some out of this. Talk to you later.